Hi guys, I am Vijay from Bangalore. I work for ST Blue, and I would like to welcome all for this knowledge share session on liquibase. So this is the agenda for today's knowledge share. I would like to tell the need for a DB migration tool, and I would like to introduce liquibase and how to use liquibase, and I will tell you how liquibase is used in SOA layer of EDOS DP. And also I will just narrate what has to be done by the developers who changes the database down the line. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. I just briefed a few points which stress that what is the need for a database migration tool. So basically here migration, what does it mean? It's many people might be getting confused with migration. It means like moving from one vendor to the other, like from Postgres to Oracle. But here in this context it means nothing but the product version evolution from say 14.1 to 14.2, how the product is upgraded. So that is called migration here. So uh, um, before using migration tool in EDOS DP, the database schema is modified by executing an SQL file while installing the RPM. It means every time the RPM is installed upgrade, the SQL file drops the schema table and recreates it again. So here we can see we can clearly see that the data loss will be there, which we are trying to avoid using liquibase. So if we drop the table and create it again in a live machine, we will lose the valuable data. So which we are trying to avoid using liquibase. Hence there is a need for the framework here. So what liquibase does is it is really used to maintain the migration history and to apply the database schema changes according to the migration path, whether it is full installation or the upgrade installation. So I will I will give you more detail about this later. Probably the need for DB migration tool, you can figure it out in Google using the required links. And also I have captured all those links in my Confluence page, which is given in the PPT at the end of this presentation. So I just in a nutshell I just summarized what is the need for the database migration tool. There might be many advantages by using the database migration tool, which I didn't capture it in the slide, but it's available in my Confluence page. Okay, so we picked liquibase as a database migration tool here. We also considered alternatives like Flyway. We have a working model for Flyway as well, but we figured out liquibase is more comfortable to use and a little bit robust compared to Flyway, so we have gone with liquibase here. So liquibase is nothing but it's an open source database independent library. Library in the sense it's an API like kind of a thing for tracking, managing, and applying database changes. So probably I will show you later how to use this API. But as of now, it's just an jar file which can be executed. It's an executable jar file. It was started in the year 2006 to allow easier tracking of database changes, especially in an agile software development environment. So it is much more applicable for our development environment. So these are the simple steps to use liquibase. If you see, liquibase is a Java-based framework where it has only 4 steps. The first step is to create a log file. Another one is to create a change set. Another one is to run the change set and check your database whether the changes are appeared or not. So the terminology change log, change set might be new for most of the people. So I will just narrate what is a change log file and a change log set. Change set. So So this is where I checked out my SOA repository, EDOS under SOA repository trunk. So you you might see very well known components: data service and execution service. These are the two main components of SOA as of now. So I just go into data service under configuration, EDOS DP scripts. Previously you guys would have seen all the SQL files under this folder, like common scripts, ITK scripts, but I did a small refactoring here, like modifying the data structure. Changed it to full and upgrade here. So when it comes to full, there comes the folder, let's say common scripts. All the legacy SQL files are here, like I didn't modify these contents. What I did is I just introduced an XML file here. This is called DS, data service database change logs.xml. So when you see this log file, this is nothing but the change log file. So it has that namespace which are needed for liquibase to work, and I have defined some properties which will be used inside the change sets, and there comes the change set as such. So now we came across two terminology. One is change set log file. This file itself is called change set log file, and this particular XML tag entry is called change set. So this is what I wanted to explain you guys. What is the change log files and change set. So I will tell in detail about these attributes now. Let me tell the first attributes. The author. Author stands for the person who's writing the change set. Usually I prefer giving signum here, and I would insist everybody to provide their signum here, so that we can figure out who has written this change set down the line. So this ID, it represents the unique number or a pattern where this change set is identified. So let's say the major version, minor version, patch version, and the component name. So the major version will be injected by the RPM. We are talking from the context of full in the sense it's a new installation, where the empty machine is there, and now we are trying to bring up the database, so that is called full. It's a new installation, let's assume like that. So RPM will tell what is the major version. It will say 14, and minor version 14.0 or .1, .2. That will be a minor version. Every quarter this minor version changes, and there will be a patch number for every quarter. If a developer has to give a fix, this patch number will be increased by 1. So not for all the patches, but only for the patches which affect the database entries, and not only the entries or any schema changes also. So in future, any developer working on this database changes with respect to SOA, if they wanted to provide any corrections, they should have this patch number changed. So then only the change set will be picked by liquibase, and it will be applied on the table. So I will let you this patch version number is a little bit let's say we have to intimate to the RPM colleagues, so that they will change this patch version, because these values are substituted by RPM and not by the developers directly. So it is the responsibility of the developers to tell okay, this particular ticket or the Jira ticket which is raised by end-to-end team has such consequences where the table needs to be changed. So if you let such things known to the RPM colleagues, they will increase the patch version, so that the patches will be applied. So probably I will narrate this more down the line. So the component name is nothing but the name of this component as such, like here it is data service, and the other component will be called execution service. And if tomorrow due to some new requirement, if some new component comes, that component name will be substituted like this. That particular component will have its own change log files and change sets. So this is a running number which indicates the change set. This is the first change set, this is the second change set. It's similar to that. Okay, so I have set of change sets for each and every SQL file. So the other one is this path. So what does it mean is the change set can have a direct SQL here, but what I did is, instead of writing the SQLs directly on an XML file, I just retain the old SQLs, and in future also developers will be writing .SQL file, and they will be giving the path to the change set. So what it means is the change set will invoke the SQL file. So till now the RPM directly invokes the SQL file, but now there will be an intermediate component called liquibase, which will read this XML file, which will understand this change set, and it will invoke the SQL file rather directly RPM invoking this. So this relative to change log file, this is true or false. What it means is the path, like it's a relative path from the change log file. So that is what I'm telling, it's true. Or I can make it to false and I can give it an absolute path. So the that's the key attributes of change set. And if you go down, I just introduce a new change set. This is for validation purpose. I'm just verifying whether all the change sets are successfully installed or not. This is done by using the preconditions features of liquibase. So liquibase helps me to verify whether all the change sets are successfully executed or not. So I will show you a quick demonstration about this. So since already I have written a change log file for data service, I'm not going to write it again, but directly executing and showing it to you now. So let's see how my data structure state is. So I'll do a refresh. So you guys can see all these schemas and the tables under the schema. What I do here is I will disconnect this. I will drop the database. Let me connect to the database's Postgres user. Okay, I have deliberately let this 00 user creation.sql script out of liquibase framework. So this will help the RPM to have a control on database creation and user and role creation. So what I did is I dropped the database and I've recreated the empty database. So to cross verify that, let's connect to the database DP and see, yeah, only there are default schemas available. So now I'm just going to info update upgrade full. Okay, so I'm just going to use this command to install all the change sets. So what does it mean is liquibase will read all the change set and it will apply on the database, so that tables and the entries in the tables will be created. So it is, in other words, like executing the .sql files. So what I say is I'm using Java and I'm feeding in many parameters, and all these parameters are very important. And this says that this says the location of ds changelog file. Okay, so and this parameter says the location of es changelog file. Es stands for execution service changelog file, and this is the major version and the minor version, patch version, and this is the executable jar here, liquibase jar. So I'm just specifying it's a Postgres driver, and I'm picking the Postgres jar from this particular location in my machine. And this is the changelog file, which means which stands for the master changelog file. I will tell you guys what is master changelog file. As of now, just make sure that the changelog file has this particular path. And this is the URL for the database, username and password. Log level you can change as per your wish. And this is a vital thing, which says liquibase, it has to update the database. There are other options can be given here, like rollback, tag. I will show you those things down the line. So as of now, what I'm trying to do is I'm just going to update a database. So by issuing this command, usually this command will be issued by RPM in the servers. In developer machine, every developer can download this liquibase, this particular version, and keep it anywhere, and he can change all these parameters according to his wish, so that there is no need for us to execute each and every .sql file every time. So that's the advantage we get out of this. So I'm just running this command. Let's see what's happening. Okay, so the update is successful. So let me cross verify whether it is really got succeeded. I'll just do a refresh. You can see all the schemas and table got created. So let's see what liquibase has done. So I just ran this command. It is trying to acquire a lock. Okay, so for what it is trying to acquire a lock is there's a table under the public schema called the database change log, and this is a very vital table for liquibase to work as expected. So it will acquire lock for this table, and it will read the information, and it will populate information to this table. That's the very first step it does. You can see reading from public database change log table here. Then it reads the master change log file. Okay, so now let's see what is there in the master change log file. It's the high time that I should show you what is the content of master change log file. Okay, so this is a very simple file. What it says is it has a precondition. It just checks whether the DBMS is PostgreSQL and it is run by the user redos DP. So if none of these things are true, then these two log files will not be invoked at all. So what I'm trying to say here is include this change log file and also include this change log file. The first one stands for DS, the second one stands for ES for execution service. So that's how I'm hooking up a couple of separate log files with the master log file. So the master log file, it contains the path of other individual log files for the separate components. So every component will have its own log file, which we saw here. So this is the separate log file for data service. Likewise, there will be a separate log file for ES as well. So so that's about the master change log. So when it invokes the master change log, it reads the first include the redirectives, and there it will read the first change set. So this is the first change set, 14.1.0.1 data service 1. 1 stands for the first script. This is the second script, and this is the third script, and this is the fourth script, like that. So you can see it also clearly says from which log file it has been picked. It says this path under full, this is the log file, and this is the ID of the executed change set, and who's the author as well, and it says it ran successfully in so much milliseconds. So much detailed information we are getting from liquibase, which is very much needed for the administrative or the even a developer and tester to see how the script has executed and whether there is any problem or not. So here this table I will narrate what is the entries in the table. So once the liquibase executes all the change set, it makes an entry like this. The first one is ID column. ID okay. Yeah. So the ID column, it has that value of the change set ID. It will say who is the author of the change set. It will say which is the log file, change log file having that change set, and when it is being executed, and the order of all the change sets. And this is standing for the checksum of the file. If the checksum is changed, liquibase will notify us that the file has been modified. So these entries are very important for an administrator to see in a very fast look that whether all the SQL files are successfully executed. We don't have to go through all the schemas and tables in our readers DP to see whether all the data are successfully populated. In one table we can infer everything. So when you see this entry DS full validation, what it does mean is all the above change sets are successfully executed. That's what this entry means. So this entry stands for the same thing. All the change set for execution service is successfully executed. So by seeing this two thing, we can easily identify, okay, the database migration has gone successfully. So this is all about the fresh installation. So when a machine doesn't have a table or any entries. So what happens if the machine is already been installed? Let's say 14.0 is already installed. Now the end-to-end team has to install 14.1. So how do we handle this such situation? So really we don't have to drop the table and create it again, because they will be having their valid information in there in the database. So to address that, we use this update folder. So let's fall back and get into this upgrade folder. So I will hypothetically I will assume a situation. Let's say end-to-end team has reported a bug in 14.0. So in 14.0, like that bug especially has a change in database schema, or let's say I need to put an entry to the database as such. So either of this thing will make us to change the SQL file. Okay, so I need to in this case I'm not supposed to modify the already existing SQL file. Let's say already an SQL file A creates a table 1, and I am not supposed to open the already existing SQL file and modify the table creation just like that, because SQL will execute change set only once. So for 14.0, that change set would have been already executed, and our new modifications will not be executed again. So to avoid that particular situation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce a new SQL file. Let's say I'm going to take a situation that this bug fix needs a new table creation. So I'll create a table. I'm sorry, I'll create, let's say, under this name, make directory test demo script. So I'm just creating a folder, test demo script. So here I'm just going to create some couple of SQL files to show you the creation of table. So already I've created it under this particular folder. I'm just copying it just to avoid the wastage of time here. So this script, as the name says, it's creating a table. Okay, I'm just creating a test table under the public schema. This is not so complicated SQL. And also if you see the other one, drop table, so this is nothing but deletion of the table. So I have created two SQL files under the folder test demo script, which is under upgrade. Okay, so this is I'm taking data service as an example. Tomorrow you guys will bump into other components, like say execution service, or if a new component is introduced, you will have the same structure. Under the upgrade folder you will be introducing your new folders, and you will keep all the SQL files under that folder. And that SQL files can be anything, but it's mandatory that you create the table and also delete the table. It means whatever constructively you are doing in SQL file, you have to do it the other way also. Why this has to be done is to make the rollback work. Liquibase doesn't have the intelligence to roll back automatically. We developers have to manually tell Liquibase, okay, when you roll back, this is what you need to do. So that's the reason I have created a drop table SQL file. So for the create table, already a table is created for this bug. If the end-to-end team has to fall back to 14.0 version, so they really don't have to change the database status manually. What they can do is they can use the tag feature of Liquibase, so that the tag feature of Liquibase will use rollback options, where the rollback option will in turn it will invoke this drop table SQL file. So I will tell you how to interrelate all these SQL files now. So there's a ds database change underscore log.xml under this location upgrade. So already I've checked in some samples for you guys to have a look. I'm just going to take the same. Okay. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create a new change set. This is for the upgrade scenario. So one upgrade scenario is say for an example okay, I'm just going to create a new change set here. I'm the author and I'm giving my ID, and I'm hard coding the ID here because every upgrade change log should have an hard coded ID, because it shouldn't change because of the environmental variables. That is a mandatory expectation here. So I'm just telling, I'm giving a patch for this major version, this minor version, and this is the patch number, and this is the component name, and this is the sequence. The sequence will restart under this file because it's a new file altogether. You can restart the sequence here. So saying so, I will just give the path. So this is a very confusing name and I would like to change this. Okay, where did I create it? Slash idosova okay, so create table.sql. Okay, so what it means is whenever this change set is invoked, this SQL file is going to execute it. So whenever I am calling a rollback on this change log file, this particular SQL file is going to execute it. So this is what it means. So now you guys know how that Liquibase will invoke which script in which case. So that's it. So one to create the table, another to drop the table. So likewise, whatever complicated action we do constructively, and we should revert it back in the rollback. That can be done using a separate SQL file. So I just created a change set with the rollback option, and I'm going to save this. Yes, that's done. So now this is the state of the database. Okay, so I'm going to create a test table under this I'm sorry a table called test under this public schema. So you can see that only 0 patches are applied, 0 1, and the patch what I created here is it has the ID 01, so I will change it to 02 because the patch number we are supposed to increase it, and 02. Let's say this again. Okay, now this log file is ready to get executed. So before upgrading it, what I'm trying to do is I'm just going to tag the database status. So how do I tag the database status is by using the command tag. So it's this command is same. I'm just running the same liquibase.jar file with all the options. and here is the change. I'm just telling it tag the current state with the string version 14. It can be anything. You guys can feel free to give any string there. I'm just giving it version 14. So let me tag this database state. So it says tag successful. Let me see what does that mean. I'm just going to refresh this table database change log, and I'm seeing a new tag. I'm seeing that string whatever I given in the command line, that is appearing in this tag field. So it means we have tagged the current status of the database. So now after tagging, let me upgrade it now. So what we did is we have installed the machine newly, that is by using the update command, and then after new installation we have tagged the machine status using some string, and now because of some bug fix I'm going to upgrade it. So I'm going to use this path here. Please note this path upgrade. So this is for the component data service, and I'm also giving the execution service. uh, this is the execution path, though the fix doesn't really impacts execution service. I'm just giving it for the sake of completeness, but really this is not needed. Like I doesn't want to change the command line now, so I just use the old one. uh, so what I do here is okay, this is rollback, but update upgrade, yes. So I'm using the update option for the path upgrade. So let me see what this does. Okay, there you go. Like it has figured out that a particular new change set is being introduced, and it has applied to the database as well. So when I do a refresh, you can see a new entry getting added to this table. So this says the patch 02 data service 1, and this is the log file holding the change set, and it also says the time. Okay, this is after the tagging. So I tagged the database status, and I have updated the database. And now when there is a need for me to roll back, if I think I need to bring the status of the table back, then what I can do is I'll just do a rollback. Yes. So you guys can see I'm using the same upgrade path, and I'm using the command rollback and version, the same string whichever tagged. So before rolling back, let me make sure that whether the table is really created. Okay, so that's good news that the table got created because of our bug fix. We ran the liquibase, and the fix for the bug is to create the table. Like we have written the SQL file, it has created it. So now the user thinks that he need to roll back to the previous state. So what he does is he uses the same upgrade path, and he gives the command rollback on version 14, and then let's see what happens now. Yes, so this change set has been picked, and it executed the rollback options. So let me check whether the table is deleted. So yes, the table is gone under the public schema. So this is the demonstration for the rollback option. So what we have seen now is we have it's just like creating a patch for a bug fix. That is what the demonstration we have seen now. When a end-to-end team raises a bug, how to give fix using liquibase is what the demonstration says. So all you guys need to do is create a change set. If the component is a old component, let's say data structure and execution service, I already created a change log files for you guys. So all that you need to do is you just create a change set, and the change set should have an .sql file correspondingly, and the change set should have a rollback options also, two SQL file, one for the normal operation and other for the rollback. So if you guys check in both the SQL files under the component structure, which is specified in the Confluence page, I'll go through the structure after this demonstration for a more elaborate thing. Um, so check in the files in the corresponding structure, so that probably RPM will pick it and it will execute it. Um, that's that's all I need to share with you guys. So hope this session will be a useful one, and please feel free to reach me for any clarification. I have created a very clear conference page. So I have clearly said how to create a change log file, change set, and I have even documented the options. I just give a CLI. I used CLI for this demonstration here, but you can also use Maven. So I have checked in the POM file. So as a developer, when you build, you can modify the SQL there, and you can use the Maven this command mvn liquibase dot update. So if you give this properties as you give it in CLI, automatically our developer machine, the laptops or the developer machines, even the desktop can be upgraded. So this will be more useful for the developers especially. So I have captured it in the conference page, and I have clearly explained what are the parameters and what they stands for and what the possible values can be given. I've yeah, this is the data structure of SOA. Like I've introduced a new component, SOA DB schema, which is having such structure, and it contains the master change log. Whenever a new component is added, you guys should remember to add it to the master change log file. Then only the liquibase will pick it and execute it. So don't forget to add a new line like this when a new component is getting added. If you are giving a fix for DS or ES already existing, there's no change here. Just modify the file directly, add a new change set. So I have just given some useful commands, tag, rollback, everything has been documented here. But anyway, feel free to refer my video, because a live demonstration has been given, and you guys can use it later. So this is rollback, and I have modified the DS and execution service component also. So previously there is no full folder and upgrade folder. Right now I introduced an intermediate folder in between. I have classified all these already existing scripts under full, and upgrade for the bug fixes. This is something like branch and trunk concept. So when somebody gives a bug fix in the upgrade path, they also should open this changelog file, should create a new change set, which is having this I will show it again. Yeah, this is upgrade. Here the ID is hard coded here. Okay, so I'll show you the full. So here the ID is not hard coded, it has been taken from the environment. So that's the difference here. Like this guy, when somebody newly installs using RPM, it will be 15.0 in future. So but when that comes, the 14.0's patches should go in there. It doesn't automatically goes until and unless the user brings in these changes to the full installation. So it is like we need to create a change set here and also here. So that is the expected one. So hope I made myself clear here. Like if my explanation is not so much understandable, please feel free to reach me, or I will be able to explain it more better. So this is a new structure. If tomorrow some components comes, how the structure should look like, I have documented that also. So this is a very clear simple thing what a user should do and shouldn't do, that I have captured here. The actual modification of schema is done by SQL, hence the developer should create a new SQL file for the changes in the database schema under the corresponding component. Modify the change log files for the corresponding component to include the SQL files execution in the form of change set. So in the case of new component like ES and DS, create a new change log file, and don't forget to hook it up with the master change log file, which is under the SOA DB schema project. And this is the difference. One thing is hard coded, the other one is taken from the environment. For the new installation, RPM will say what is that version which is getting installed, so nothing needs to be hard coded there. But when it comes to patch, the developers knows for which version of software we are giving the patch, so it has to be hard coded there. So then later, because the patch number is hard coded, once the liquibase is installed it will never try to install it again. So that is a harmless hard coding stuff. So there is no problem with this. So this is a safe way of handling it. So the other thing is the validation check. Whenever we introduce a new chain set, we should make sure that we also modify the validation check, so that whenever the user sees the particular validation check, it means the admin can easily say, okay, all the change sets are executed successfully. So I have given my Confluence page link here. So that's the end of this presentation. So thanks guys for your time, and feel free to reach me out for any queries. And I thank Yuan for his support on this user story as well. So thank you all.